Okay. Good morning, everyone. So we are going to discuss about hybrid cloud in this session. Myself, along with Raminder, will talk about the benefits, strategies, and other aspects of the hybrid cloud. My name is Pranay Jha. I'm working with HCL as a cloud consultant, and Raminder is working with VMware. So in today's agenda, we are going to dive into the hybrid cloud solutions, migration strategies, HCX, and labs that you can explore to get some hands-on on the hybrid cloud solution and HCX. What is hybrid cloud? Basically, hybrid cloud is a combination of two clouds. We have a private cloud infrastructure, or you can say legacy infra, and we have some public cloud. So when you use the services from the public cloud and also uh, get use to the existing infrastructure which is resided in your private environment, that makes it hybrid, and you can have access to the services that you want to use from the public cloud such as Amazon, Azure, and you can also leverage the services like we have vSphere. So that make a combination of two products and that become hybrid. We'll discuss about the data center type. I'll take example here of VMC and AWS. We have a customer data center over here, and we are leveraging some services from the Amazon. And that when you are using those services and you are accessing the customer data center and you connect both data center in a single console, that becomes VMC and AWS, where you can have services from vSphere as well as from the Amazon. And why should we use hybrid cloud? There are certain benefits. There are certain core benefits that will talk. So your application team does not have to be dependent on some kind of hardware. They do not have to be dependent on the IT infrastructure or anything. They can continuously do their work, and that gives you a business agility. And also, like your IT team, they do not need to worry about the hardwares. They do not need to procure the hardware every time, or some latest version has came into the market, or some kind of the hardware which is not compatible. So that worries have like they do not need to worry about those things. So it provides a better IT efficiency, and it also, like, hybrid cloud solution provide several security features, and also you have, like, you do not need to worry that, okay, I have some kind of major requirement, and I need to I require more hardware. So those gives that reduce the business risk and give a lot of benefit uh, to the business. There are certain other benefits, like, let's suppose I'm taking example, you have inventory that you are accessing into the public cloud environment, and you have one inventory which is you are accessing into the private cloud environment. So if you are if you are managing both in a different way, you have to be dependent. Like, if you need to access the console of vCenter server, and you need to access the console of AWS or Azure. But here you will have a centralized inventory. You can integrate those things in a single console, and you have a better management point of console, and which will also reduce the complexity from the managing the IT infrastructure. And also, let's suppose there are certain security governance policies which are applied on the vSphere or vCenter server, or there are certain services or security applied on the public cloud. So if you are migrating your infra from the your vCenter server from vSphere environment to the public cloud, you will have to make all those changes. But if you are using the hybrid cloud solution, specifically, like, which is managed or provided by the VMware, you do not need to, like, worry or change those security policies, and you will have you can apply those policies which are already exist on the VMware environment, because it is the console is same, and all the features are the same. Also, you do not require any kind of skill sets. Let's suppose I'm a Windows guy or VMware guy. I'm already managing the VMware environment. And if you are migrating to some public cloud, you require additional skill sets. But if you are already have, like, if you are taking the console which is similar, which is more similar to the your legacy or current infrastructure, you do not need to enhance, like, work more onto the enhancing the skill set of your IT guy. Apart from that, if if I discuss about the public cloud, and there are several challenges. Like you need to re-architecture, you need to refactor the entire applications. Take example of one application which is already running on the vCenter server, ESXi host, and in the VM environment. And if you are migrating that workload or application to the public cloud, that definitely you will have to re-architecture and refactor those things to in order to work those properly in the different environment. Also, that require a lot of downtime and a huge migration. That migration activity will take a long time. And apart from that, the skill set, as I discussed, that also is a major pain for everyone. There are common use cases like we have data center extension that can be used, and also disaster recovery. It can be also used for the disaster recovery scenarios. And if you want to like scale in, scale out to the due to certain times, so that can also be done. Like take example of Black Friday sale. Your company want some additional workloads during that particular time. You do not need to worry about those things. You can just take additional services and release after the use. I'll take a real-time use case. There was a customer who wanted to migrate 700 workloads to who wanted to upgrade the 700 workloads to the latest one, which was vSphere 7.0. And also he had some additional requirement for a short period of time, as I said about the Black Friday sale. So you wanted to utilize these two use cases for the and he opted for one hybrid cloud solution, and like he went for the IBM VMware solution. And there was certain painful areas he was thinking about, like he had to do hardware refresh every time and every 3 years. Like if hardware is not compatible, he had to refresh that. And also the capital expenditure for shorter period of workloads. If he had to upgrade some applications, he had to use some resources for short period. He had to increase their capital expenditures. It was also one of the major pain area. But like rather going to the new hardware or utilizing upgrading the existing environment, he used to go like he used hybrid cloud solution and used IBM VMware solution in that case. And in what happened, like the underlying hardware was provided by the vendor, hybrid cloud vendor, and it was came with the pre-installed ESXi host, and he migrated the migration activity took a shorter time. And also the pay-as-you-go, he used pay-as-you-go service, and the workloads that he wanted to use for certain period of time, he did not he used it for some time and then released it. And which solution I should opt for? Specifically, if it is provided by VMware or managed by VMware, there are certain solutions like we have VMC on AWS, AVS solution, we have Google Cloud VMware solution, then IBM VMware solution, Oracle Cloud VMware solution. There are certain other as well. So these are the few of the solutions that we can use in our environment. And how to migrate? So we have different three type of migration strategies. Like we have one lift and shift, one partial refactor, and one is complete refactor. So in lift and shift, you can just offload all the workloads from the on-prem to the hybrid cloud solution, and you do not need to make any changes. In partial refactor, you have certain change, you have to do certain changes, and you can like you wanted to do change to few applications or few workloads. And in complete refactor, you want to re-architect, you want to refactor entire applications and workload. So these three strategies we have in while we are doing the migration. And phases in transformation, there are 4 phases. One is discovery, one is planning, third one is testing, and fourth one is migration. In discovery phase, you assess your environment, that what all workloads exist in your environment and what all resources that are consuming. And also in planning phase, once you move to this phase, you plan like how much resources we would require, what all components we need to migrate. So those plannings you do. And in testing phase, you take few of the workloads which are not in the which are not the production. You can take dev or testing workloads and do some kind of migration to check whether the application is working fine in the next environment or not. And in the migration, you do the cutover, you replicate your entire data sets, and do the cutover during this phase. And there are different migration options and methods that we have. One is VMware HCX, another one is vMotion that you can use. Third one is advanced cross vCenter vMotion you can also use, and SRM can also be used to do the migration. Apart from that, cloud discovery, cloud disaster recovery and content library. So yeah, how you want to go, whether it is a hot, warm, or cold, that depends, and which features you want to use, so that you can take it from here. And definitely, as a cloud consultant, I always prefer to go for the VMware HCX, as it is whenever I take any services which is provided or managed by VMware, it comes free of cost. I do not need to invest much on that. So Raminder will cover the rest of the part about the HCX.
Yeah, I would agree with Pranay when it comes to HCX. I'd talk about HCX, what it can do, and how it can help you to migrate from your current existing environment to maybe a public cloud, or when you want to migrate to another hybrid cloud environment. So HCX as a product, it helps you to bring that mobility and helps you to bring that cloud extension for the network that you want to basically migrate. When you want to migrate your workloads from your on-prem to your cloud, you may want to have the same kind of network there, right? You don't want to re-IP your machines. You don't want to have the change in the MAC addresses. So those things you don't want to deal with. So HCX gives you that flexibility when you're moving your workloads from on-prem to a cloud environment, or maybe between clouds when you're moving your workloads. You have the ability to extend your networks, retain the same IP addresses, retain the same MAC addresses, and perform the migrations with a minimal downtime involved, or maybe no downtime. You can use features which can offer you without migrations without downtime as well. So it really helps you to accelerate your migration towards the cloud, and helps you with adoption of the WAN optimization features, which can do it in a seamless manner without downtime, right? We have features like bulk migration, and some of the usage scenarios that we have, migrations and transformations. You have hardware refreshes which you're doing, right? So we can accommodate that. You have hardware upgrades, software upgrades that you're dealing with, and that's a time when you decide that, okay, rather than doing the hardware refresh in my current existing data center, why don't I just go ahead and leverage a cloud which is already available and migrate my existing workloads to the cloud? You want to consolidate smaller data centers into larger data centers. So currently I'm working with a customer who actually has a lot of data centers spread across the globe, around 270 data centers, and they're looking at consolidating them to 70 data centers. And we're using HCX there. We've already consolidated a few of their data centers already, but we are in the process of consolidating the remaining ones. That's a pretty good use case there, consolidating smaller data centers. Hybrid applications when you're running, you want the same networks to be extended in the cloud, on-prem, you can have that layer 2 extension capabilities as well. Legacy equipment replacement avoidance, you don't want to do that. Rapid migration and burst capacity. Some of the use cases that he's already talked about. I think the first thing that comes to anybody's mind is, do I have to pay any additional cost for this? HCX come at no additional cost if you're using a cloud migration services, and if you basically have NSX in your environment, right? So there's no additional cost. It helps you create the connections between your on-prem and the SDDC clouds. You can stretch your layer 2 networks. I mentioned about the IP addresses and the MAC addresses. You can retain them, right? You don't have to change them. You don't have to re-IP, re-MAC your applications. It is backward compatible, and replication, there are multiple options for replication as well. So quickly covering the license features, we have advanced is what you get as part of, which is available to you at no additional cost. But the enterprise features are something which you have to upgrade to, right? Which means there's an additional cost if you want to go with the upgrade of the enterprise version. Some of the components, I just want you to make you familiar with the components here. So we have HCX Connector Manager, which actually facilitates the deployment of the HCX overall solution. So you have the HCX Cloud Manager. So this is the source site here, and that is the destination on the other side. On the destination, you can see the component there is an additional component which is missing here is NSX. So on the source, we don't have a prerequisite that you must have NSX, but on the destination, you should have NSX so that we can offer you the network extension capabilities, right? So HCX Cloud Manager is the first component you deploy. Once you have the HCX Cloud Manager, you can deploy the HCX Connector Manager on the source side. So you start with the destination side, and then you deploy it here. Once you have the HCX managers deployed on both the sites, there's a 1:1 relationship between the HCX manager and the vCenter. HCX manager gives you the capability to deploy all these service appliances. Now, these service appliances helps you to build the service mesh, you have the same amount of, you basically do the pairing of the source and the destination service appliances. I've got the network extension appliance, which helps you to extend your networks, layer 2 networks. Then I have the gateway appliance, the Sentinel gateway appliance, which helps you with the OS replication. Then we have the WAN optimizer and the IX, right? And then, quickly covering, you need at least 2 vCenters and 2 HCX managers at a minimum is what you need. And yes, just that last slide here, covering here, we have the source side, and when you have to perform the migration, this is a quick view of the bulk migration, how it happens. I have the source side, I go ahead and initiate the bulk migration, I schedule the migration, it performs a full synchronization in the first place. Once the full sync is done, you're still making changes on the source side, we do the delta synchronization, and then lastly you do the switchover. When you do the switchover, it is going to shut down all the VMs here on the source side, migrate everything onto the destination. If there's any failure while this migration, while the switchover happens, it keeps the VMs powered on the source side. And if it is successful, it actually goes ahead and renames and moves everything onto the source side under a VM migrated to cloud folder, right? So there are a few labs. I know I'm overshooting time. In the interest of time, these are the labs that you can go through. And if you have any questions, I'll be around and happy to answer those questions. Thank you, everybody.